welcome to Clash Planet Spoilercast. My name's Aidan, with me is Paul.
Hello.
And Jason.
Oh yeah.
And today we are going to discuss The Last of Us. So if you haven't played The Last of Us, you need to turn this off now, because we're going to ruin everything.
If you haven't finished The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, sorry, if you haven't finished The Last of Us, you need to turn it off. Actually, don't turn it off. Before you turn this off, go to watch later, click on that and then turn this off. Come and watch us after you've played this game. I think that's enough time for people to click.
I think they've had all the time they need.
I think there's one or two parts we need to start at, either at the start or the end, because those are the two parts that people just are refusing to talk about to people that haven't played it.
I think the start then.
Yeah.
Just from a normal logical
thing. Let us begin at the beginning.
Alright. Does anyone want to kick us off with the start then? What did you think?
I really liked the opening of that game. I thought it was probably the best opening of a game I've ever seen.
Should we talk a bit about what happened in the opening?
Yeah.
I've actually got to try and remember, which is not going to be as easy as I'd like.
I watched a bit of it again yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, but it's you start off as Joel's daughter, don't you? She actually plays her, and that threw me a little bit. Yeah, Sarah. And that threw me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't quite work out whether that was the other character.
Oh no, I knew straight away it wasn't.
Well, I kind of suspected it wasn't, but you're not really sure, and I didn't realise quite how early this was.
Yeah.
So 20 years difference was massive, and it kind of felt like you were already in the game already, and this was just going to carry on. I didn't realise we were going to have a time jump.
A James Bond style before the credit sequence.
Yes,
exactly. The huge part is that you're obviously playing as it, and they don't give you any backstory to how the virus kicked off.
On the outbreak day.
And then all of a sudden you're playing as this girl, on the outbreak day, and you get taken off, and then all of a sudden you're leaving your uncle behind to probably get molested. Well, you think he's going to get just molested by these zombies.
Yeah,
and
well,
like, shit.
These things happen.
Yeah, and you're like, well, obviously if you're in Joel's situation, you've got to choose your daughter over your brother, haven't you? That's obvious. And then she gets fucking shot.
The thing that really impressed me about it was the understatedness of it all. It starts off, and the first infected you see is just your next door neighbour.
Yeah.
And then when you're in the car with your uncle and your dad,
even before
you're driving towards people and they're running towards you. Like, are these infected? Are these just people trying to get away from infected? What the heck is going on?
It's all really, I don't know what the hell's going on, which is what that should feel like.
But even before that, you're there and you can pick up the newspaper, and there's little bits about it on the newspaper, and then the news, whilst you walk into your dad's bedroom, it was just boom, a huge explosion.
It's just happens outside the window.
Yeah, it was just all this stuff going on, but you were at a loss to what was really happening, which kind of made it feel way better.
I knew she was going to die. It was obvious by just looking at the cover art that that's not the same girl. If that's not the same girl as his daughter, she has to die. I just didn't expect it to be that way. I expected it to be a biter.
Yeah, I expected it to be a bite.
Yeah, but that just sets up the whole Joel being a broken man, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really puts it into perspective when suddenly you're 20 years on, which I really wasn't expecting them to die. I know I keep saying it. I wasn't expecting them to dive that far ahead.
But I wasn't expecting the whole, just the overarching narrative of the game that lasts it cuts off. It's blank screen, spring.
Yeah.
Blank screen, fall.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is pretty, because we'll keep going from your point, but
yeah, well, that was just. It just I couldn't work out what was going on.
Yeah.
But for the whole of the beginning bit, I knew that there was an outbreak. Like you said, it wasn't clear who the people were that were coming after you. Were they actual people? Were they zombie things? Because it was all very vague, wasn't it? And that was kind of the issue with it all. You just didn't know what was going on.
I was really impressed with how quickly they managed to make you care about these two characters, simply with that scene with the birthday and the gift giving. That scene
curled up on the sofa.
Got me as emotionally invested in that little girl as I was in, say, Clementine from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, you cared for this little girl was going to be alright.
It was really smart that you played as her.
Yes, because you're part of her life.
The whole point of most games is to keep the person you are alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then as soon as she dies, she gets shot by a soldier as well.
Yeah.
From orders that he's been given.
And they didn't shy away from it either. It wasn't like it didn't cut to black and then he wakes up and goes, "My daughter died." It's just kind of like he's there holding her, going, "Oh, she's
and she
Well,
dies.
should we discuss Joel then? Because obviously
Yeah.
he's one of the main two characters.
Yes.
And he's one of those characters. He's obviously like a bad guy. He's meant to be this guy who just does whatever he has to do to survive. And throughout the game, you're hearing stuff like, "Yeah, I've been on both sides of these traps and stuff like that." He's obviously done some evil stuff.
I think most
to
people.
survive.
I think most people in this world have done some evil stuff to survive.
Maybe what, in this world or in their world?
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
in their world,
their world.
in
The Last
their-
of Us.
in that
Yeah, and I think that's why he's like, even though he's done some evil shit and you know he has, you kind of forgive him for it, because if any of us were in that same situation, you have to
Yeah.
do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah, I don't think he comes across as someone who has gone outright crazy about
No.
this thing. He's handled it the
Yeah.
absolute best way he can
Doing
handle
what he
it.
can with what he's got.
And that's really relatable, I think.
Yeah.
You don't just think, oh, you know, he's some git.
But even when he meets Ellie, he's like, "Do we have to do this? This doesn't make sense. This is dangerous. This isn't what we do. We survive, and that's it."
But that just shows how cold he's gotten
Yeah.
over 20 years. You know, he hasn't dealt with Sarah's death,
Yeah.
clearly. And how can you when you've got all this other stuff going on around
It's not like
you?
you've got time to just. I'm just here, like, take my time and grieve. You can't
Yeah.
grieve. It's impossible.
But it was interesting how much that you know that you've jumped forward 20 years. It's quite clear that you've got all the, you know, the world has moved on, things are a little bit different to how they were. The world is dealing with this outbreak, which is still fairly unspecified by that point to what really happened.
Yeah.
But I've almost forgot
I
my
think
points.
I think it remains unspecified as to what happened throughout the entire. It
Which
doesn't.
I'm pleased about.
I was
Yeah.
really by the end of the game, I was really expecting to be like, this is what happened. This is how we can reverse it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that.
Didn't think they'd do that. I wondered at first, but then it became clear that this wasn't a story about the outbreak. This was a story about Joel
Yeah.
and Ellie. That was what it was all about. I've completely forgotten what point I was going for. It'll come back.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. I do like how they set up that Joel was obviously a broken man, and he was just doing what he could to survive. But I also like how throughout the entire game, when he meets Ellie, he gradually becomes attached to her.
Yeah.
And so much so that by the end of it, he's willing to sacrifice a whole human race just to save her.
Which is moving on a little bit to the end.
Well,
but, you
yeah,
know,
but
you're right.
They are the. I mean, we can talk about the mechanics and all that kind of thing, but I think the things we really need to touch on at the beginning and the end, and then we
Yeah.
can go back to like our favourite
Yeah.
bits. And
yeah, I mean the end was badass. I thought.
the ending of that game, as much as we've talked about at the beginning, the ending of that game matches it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried that towards the end of the game, it was going to do something daft, and I'd go, "Oh, that's a really pants ending."
Yeah.
And I was really worried about being disappointed, but I just wasn't. They ended it so well.
I was really expecting it
As soon
to
as-
kill Ellie, and to do in order to do that to they do that to save the human race and everyone comes back, or like, society's rebuilt itself.
Yeah.
And they fucking didn't. I'm so pleased.
the thing that like I got was. Well, as soon as she's in that operating theatre and he picks her up, I was like, they are both gonna die.
Yeah,
They
I
are
thought
both
that.
gonna get shot and they are both gonna die.
Well, before that, it's like they're telling you all laid on this bed because they've already taken Ellie, haven't they?
Yeah.
And you're laid on this bed, and they're like, you can't get her. She's gonna die. She's gonna save us all because obviously the Fireflies have got her. And you're just there like, you fucking bastards.
Yeah.
You're gonna kill the little girl, and you're like. Well, for me personally, I don't know, but because I've read some people saying that Joel should let her die. This is for the human race. But to me, and I said this to you yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
It was like, to me, it's because Joel had such a connection to Ellie. It was like a fatherly love, and any father would give up the human race for his own daughter or his own child.
But saying that, if you look at that final scene where she talks about first person to go as my friend, I'm still waiting for my turn,
Yeah.
and that look on her face was, to me, I know you're lying.
Yeah.
Maybe, but she accepts it.
It could be read the other way around.
The last word in the game is okay.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing because, like you said, I mean, we don't know whether she knows. We know that he's lied. Because, you know, he's already said, you know, there was nothing they could do, that was it.
Yeah.
So we know that he's lied, and she accepts the lie. And whether she knows it's a lie, she's a smart girl. She probably,
I think
probably
she knows
knows.
it's a lie.
But they just accept it. She accepts it, and that's great.
The thing that gets me is like with Joel and his whole survival is everything kind of mentality.
Yeah.
It's flipped on its head.
Well, I don't.
By the end, he's like, I don't care.
Because of this little girl.
Yeah. Basically,
it's such good character development in it for Joel.
Did you notice tiny little things like every time he talks about his daughter?
Check his watch.
Look at his watch.
Yeah.
No, I did not
Every
notice
single
that.
time
That
I
was
don't
really
talk
good.
about it. Like tiny little, and like as much as I don't want to turn this into a graphical situation, like talk, like the expressions and little things they did. I mean, with is it Bill
The town guy
who owns his own town? Basically,
Yeah.
lives in his own, yeah, Bill. We don't know what their interactions have been, but there is something there. It's not just like you're meeting a random person. It's not just like they're saying.
Yeah, they're not. You get your standard games where they meet someone new, and
Yeah.
oh, they've met someone new. There was clearly a history there.
Yeah.
That was my point from earlier. It's come back. Is but over those 20 years, you know shit's gone down, but there's never any real talk about it.
Good.
And yeah, and that's exactly it. It was fab because it doesn't say, 20 years happened and all of this stuff went on. You only find out from the interactions between the other characters.
Like him and his brother.
Yeah.
I was so glad when he finally found out that his brother was still alive. So I wonder what happened to his brother. I've got to mention this at some point. And I was like, oh, he's still alive. Good.
Yeah, that was good. I thought that was a good dynamic,
Yeah.
especially when they're heading towards his brother's home, and he's like, "Yeah, we kind of parted on bad terms. This might not go that well."
Yeah, the whole Lando Calrissian situation of like, I'm sure he's forgotten about that by now.
Yeah. I knew you'd make a Star Wars reference.
I've got it done. I haven't done it yet in any of these videos.
Oh, there you go. Well done.
Yeah.
Very brave.
As good as the story was as well, and as good as Joel was, for me, Ellie was so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ellie was everything in this.
The thing that made it for me was it all through the development of it. You knew you were playing as Joel.
Yeah.
They in fact said you won't play as Ellie.
Did they really?
Yeah.
They said you will not play as Ellie. And then my favourite sequence in the entire game is when you play as Ellie.
Hunting
That
the,
was good.
Hunting that deer.
Yeah, that was cool.
Meeting
David.
David, which is a great performance by Nathan, by the guy who
Forgot
does
his name.
Nathan's Nolan North. He plays Nathan Drake in the Uncharted
Oh,
series.
okay.
Like, I couldn't tell, and it was only after I read the credits that I was like that.
David is such a good character
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But,
Because he's Joel if he'd gone the other way.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he is really, isn't
Because
he?
he's looking after people. Don't get me wrong. Evil.
well, he comes across as this nice guy, and like you said, he's like Joel. He's doing what doing what he's got to do to survive. But at the same time, he's a cannibal.
He's a paedophile.
He's a paedophile. He tries to rape Ellie.
Yeah.
He's all pretty grim,
Yeah.
but when you first meet him, none of that comes to
Yeah,
mind. He
exactly.
seems like an
But
okay
at
bloke.
the same time, that's one of my favourite parts. Is where David's holding Ellie's hand through the. Oh, he's got his hand on the bars where he's locked her up, saying, pretty much insinuating, you need to do what I say. You're pretty much gonna be my sex slave for quite a long time now. And she's like, she starts pretending being all nice, and then she goes up to him and says, "You can tell the others my name's Ellie." He says, "What?" And you can tell him it's Ellie. And then breaks his fingers. Go, "Who broke your fucking fingers?"
Yeah. I
Yes.
really love that.
Yeah,
She was just having none of that
I was
crap
like,
and was
"Aw."
just dealing with it. And that's
If you're going out,
awesome.
you're going out in style, girl.
Yeah, and she did.
See, when I first, what was the fella's name again? Sorry, I totally.
David.
David. When I actually thought Joel was dead.
Yeah, so did I.
I thought they'd just phone us for a total curve,
Mm.
and it was going to be like, hey, met with someone else.
It was completely possible because
And he has an awesome hunting rifle.
They
I
did-
bet to keep it.
they did that really cool scene though, right at the beginning when it's winter and you've just seen Joel practically die.
Yeah, on Spike.
He fell off the what's name as well. He fell off the horse.
Yeah.
Cut scene, winter, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
what's going on? And then you just have a couple of moments, and this was one of my favourite parts of the entire game, where you see someone shoot a rabbit, and you see their leg, and it's so well done. You can't tell if that's Eddie or Joel, just the way it's shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see, it's just jeans and a foot
Yeah.
with a boot on. You don't know for certain. It's not until they raise the camera up and you're like, it's Ellie.
Yeah.
But you don't know that, and that was my absolute favourite part and still then you don't know for certain if Joel's still alive.
You don't know for ages until she's like, oh, medicine, I want medicine.
Well, that was twice. That was twice in one chapter. I thought it was dead because when you're playing as Ellie, I'm like, right, he must be dead because we're now playing as a new character, and then you realise he's alive, and then as soon as you escape on the horse, or kind of escape, and then get like taken by David, and you see them chopping up this body, like fucking cannibals. Cannibals are eating Joel. So the second time within like an hour, I thought Joel was dead. That was impressive. And they're just there like, but at the same time when they did that, the first thing I did was go, right, I need to press start, I need to check see if all my stats have gone. I was like, no, I've just like built everything up. I've just done your aiming twice. But it was funny. It made me feel like I was actually alone because Joel wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's a really bizarre feeling, but they did it really well.
And it was probably not the concept of permadeath as well, wasn't it? In just that, oh my god, you spent all of those points and everything, you've developed your character, and then he's gone. That would have actually been really clever to just for that character to be gone there. I mean, obviously that's not the way they went.
Screwed up the rest of the game there.
Well,
I mean, Elliot got raped and then burnt in a house, and then should have been killed by the Fireflies to cure all humanity.
That was a great little sequence with David in the burning building.
Oh, it's fantastic.
yes.
When you're basically the only boss fight in the entire game is the way I look at it.
I've actually written that down as one of my oh shit moments. Where I actually said out loud, "Oh shit," because she's beating him, smashing his head in with a fucking machete.
When you play as Ellie as well, it doesn't shy away from anything. You get caught by someone, you die. It doesn't go like fade to black. No, you see her body, you see her get torn, her throat torn out.
You're seeing like what 14-year-old girl having her throat ripped out, and you're right. It doesn't care. It just does it, and that's phenomenal as well.
It doesn't shy away from any kind of violence either, because you have all the. I mean, when we meet the other pair of characters, is it Sam?
Sam and Henry.
Sam and Henry. I kept waiting for them to discover that Elliot and Bill.
Yeah, same.
And then to be like, well, we don't trust you. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, no, they had a plan. Everything was going well.
I thought you might even have to kill Sam at one point.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
I was waiting for everything to go south.
Yeah.
Everything did go south, but it was nothing to do with us.
But even at that one point where you're kind of helping each other, and they lift you onto the truck, and they leave you behind, and you're like, you bastard!
Yes.
Yeah.
But then when he explains it to you, and you're like, actually, yeah, to be fair, if I was in your shoes, I'd have left you behind as well.
Yeah.
We've only just met you, and I've saved your kid. What more do you want?
Yeah.
So when they explain, it's like, yeah, alright. I'll let you off this time. Don't do it again.
Yes.
But I just loved Ellie's character development as well. Like when you first meet her, and she stabs that guy in the foot so you can get away, and Joel and Tess kills her.
Yeah.
Oh, kills them, sorry. And she's like, oh shit! I just thought we were gonna like seduce
Rough
them.
them up a bit.
Rough them up a bit. That's it. Not seduce them. That'd be the wrong word.
That's messed up. That would have been another level further forward.
Yeah, I thought we were just gonna rough them up a bit in the time up. And from there, she's just gradually got to do more stuff. Like when she's got to snipe people occasionally.
More like.
She just has to go through. You feel sorry for her 'cause she has to go through so much shit for a 14-year-old.
Yeah, like the first time she fires the gun, and kills that guy to save Joel while he's being drowned.
Yeah. I was like, why isn't this working? Why am I not grabbing that gun?
Yeah.
Why am I not allowed to save Joel?
That is the best push a button quickly sequence since the the corridor in Metal Gear Solid 4. Basically, there's a corridor you get in microwave shot at you, so you die and then you're crawling along this corridor. And I've never pushed a button so quickly in my life until that point. And if the same thing happens again, all that doesn't make any difference to the actual thing. Whatever happens, but because you're doing that, you get a kind of.
It's like a contribution thing, isn't it? I might be able to do something about this. And I did wonder on a few whether, and I doubt this was the case, if I pressed the button a little bit less or a little bit more, they could have changed that.
I don't think so, because the same sort of thing happens in the Uncharted.
But it's saying that you always, on a similar note, you always feel like the game's not very linear. Like you always feel like you can choose different paths, even though everything leads to the same place.
I don't know. I'd say you have two options. You have either guns or stealth.
No, I mean in the route that you take. like the path.
See,
I
I
always
found it
felt
very
like-
linear.
Did you?
I
I always
actually-
felt like I could go. I can hide if I want to hide over there. I can. If I want to go around through this corridor, I can get to the same place.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the wandering around bits, yeah, there was a certain. I wouldn't call it. It was still linear. I think
Yeah, well, yeah, it
you
has
might,
to
you
be,
might have
but-
had 2 routes,
Yeah.
and there were definitely ways to handle
But
situations.
I never
you-
felt that
you
they
know.
were forcing me down a corridor. I always felt that I could.
Oh no,
kind
you
of
did-
go the
you-
route that I wanted to go.
Even when you were in corridors near the end, you didn't feel like you were like being forced to. Because
Exactly.
you duck off into a room and
Which
come
I
down that
really
way.
liked because it made it to me. It made it feel more real.
What did you do at the end? Did you John McClane it or did you stealth it?
I John McClane. I ran out.
I
of
just
there.
like I've got a gun,
Yeah.
stuff it. I'm gonna die and she's gonna die.
I actually ran out of ammo. I kept running.
Yeah.
But I actually, when you go in to get her, and the surgeon pulls a knife on you, what do you do?
Shot them all.
Shot them all?
Well, see, that's what do you know what? I shot the surgeon,
Yeah.
and I wasn't sure whether to kill the other 2. There was a moment where I just didn't. I wasn't
I
sure.
stood there with the guy with the guy in my sights with the knife, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Is he gonna put that down?" No. Bang! You monster! Bang!
See, I wasn't
Bang.
even like that. I ran in there, as soon as he picked up that knife, he yelled something at me. I just yelled back, "Shut you bastard!" Pulled up and shot every single one else. Fucking bastard. Picked him up,
It's
put him away.
interesting, even though the outcome is the same for
Yeah.
all 3 of us, you get to the same place. It was just interesting. We all played that differently.
Yeah.
I mean, I was properly like, okay, I shot the guy with the knife. He had a knife. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's how I was going to handle things. The other 2, I shot another one of them because he looked like he was moving towards me, and then there was a female surgeon
Yeah,
as well.
crouching
And she
corner.
crouches in the corner, and I'm just there going, I don't know whether I should kill them. I don't know whether the game expects
My,
me to kill them.
I was like-
my idea behind it was, well, I'd killed them all, and then I was thinking to myself, shit, I just killed pretty much 3 unarmed people for no reason. I could have easily let them go, but I was like, no, because if they do capture us, at least they won't be able to do these tests anymore.
My thing was Joel would have killed them at that point.
You were Joel at that
Yeah.
point. You were
Yeah,
basically,
I was.
You were channeling Joel,
Yeah.
and I think I was as well. It's just the way I played Joel. Is I
Mm.
tried not to kill people if I could get away with it.
Yeah.
Most of the time you end up doing that, but I tried not to. That was just what I wanted. The way I played it, I was a bit hesitant about things sometimes, and that was the moment for me where it really defined how I played the game.
Yeah.
Because I didn't shoot straight away. I actually thought, I wonder whether there's any other way around this. They're surgeons, you know, that it's not their fault. They believe they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And then the knife comes out, I'm not having that.
Although,
I was
But,
determined I was shooting at
as
them
much
for
as
no
this, like, is Joel a good guy by the end?
Well, see, that's the question.
See, to me, right, with that whole, I'm still waiting for my turn.
Mm.
She was quite prepared to die.
Yeah.
He's not prepared to let her go.
However,
he does
she's
it for totally
14.
selfish reasons.
How many things did you decide you were going to do forever when you were 14?
Not many, but then again, I haven't lived through an apocalypse.
No, but I'm sure I've thought things in the past. Go, no, this is what I'm definitely doing.
Yeah.
This is my life plan now. This means too much to me. And now I look back at it and I go, what the hell was I thinking? I used to listen to R. Kelly.
We've all got issues.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I listen to it now. No.
One of the
14-year-olds don't know what they're doing.
One of the things I question though, and I don't think the game actually tells you, is whether Ellie has consented to going on that operating theatre, whether she
does subtly
knows.
tell you. It does
Yeah.
subtly tell you.
Does
Because she goes, "What happened to the fireflies? Why am I in this gown?"
That,
She
well,
said-
that says
so
to me,
basically,
she didn't know.
she was drowning. She got sedated and taken straight to theatre.
And that's kind of, that means
Because
it was against her will. If someone had sat her down and
And
said,
the other, what's the name of the leader of the fireflies?
But who?
Mar something.
Marlene.
Marlene.
Yeah.
She says it's what she would want. It's what she would have wanted, not it's what she wants.
Okay.
yeah, so
It's very subtle about these things, but it does tell you.
See, when I saw Marlene for a second time, I was like thinking, you look a lot like the woman I saw at the start. And I was thinking to myself, is that in-game racism because you're both black? No, it's because you are the same
It is the same
person.
person.
I was thinking, how the hell did you get here? You were dying when I saw you 14 hours ago.
yeah, I mean you have to remind yourself you've actually had seasons
Yeah,
of
yeah,
life.
exactly.
Yeah.
Until a year goes.
Yeah, but no, I mean it very subtly tells you things, granted, but it's all implied.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. When whether Ellie really knew or not, no, we will never know
Yeah.
for certain whether she expected it. It was kind of common sense. I don't
She
know why I
says-
didn't
she says
realise
at a
halfway
certain
through the
point, just
game.
before you meet the giraffes,
Giraffes.
She says,
Drafts.
she says, what do you think they'll do to me? Do you think it'll hurt? And Joel says, they'll probably just take some blood.
Yeah.
Did you have that little conversation?
Yeah,
so,
that conversation happened, but that's all there was. But
I actually that actual scene though I thought was really good because it was straight after the whole David just tried to kill me and rape me thing, and she was just not herself for the entire thing. She was just so down, not doing anything. Like you go to a sequence and put her up onto the next ledge that you've done 20 times in the last hour, and she's not doing it.
Yeah.
She's just sat there,
Yeah.
and then you see the drafts and like, oh shit, I really hope they don't turn into zombies.
Yeah. But by the end, she says, that's something you can teach me. You can teach me to swim.
It's all about bloody time.
Yeah, because
she's looking forward to stuff after this is all over.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But if she'd known, you have to wonder what decision she'd have made given the option.
But that was taken away from her by both the Fireflies
and Joel, and that's really important. But we'll never know.
Yeah.
But the way I thought about it, I know obviously some people online have been saying, oh, he took away the human race's chance of survival. I think, that's all well and good, but she might not have been the only individual. We don't know what's going on the rest of the planet. We've seen some of the planet, but we've not seen everything. I think, and we don't know that what the surgeons were planning on would have even worked.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my view. I got to the end and thought, do you know what?
It is a bit of a gamble.
That's what I'd have done. I'd have done the same thing Joel did.
On top of that, it's not a story about the end of the world.
No.
It's a story about two characters and how they become so close together that they are practically family.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
Here's a question, because I was thinking about this and I'm still not sure. At what point do you think Joel starts caring about Ellie? Because he doesn't near the beginning. It's quite a long time, and
when
he
she
doesn't
runs
care.
away on that horse,
Yeah.
when he realises she cares about me.
Yeah, but do you think he cared about her before?
Yeah.
Before then, no.
No.
I don't know.
I think there was a bit of like, I kind of like this kid, but let's not get too close. We've been hurt before.
Yeah, I think that's what the whole brother thing was about. That he probably would have kept on going if he didn't find his brother, but he stops there thinking, you know what, this is a little girl that I love as much as a daughter. Who else better to trust her with than my own brother? Because I know this is what he's about. He's all about saving the world, and he will do anything to do that.
I think it was. I've had enough. I think it was. I've had enough. She's gonna die. I don't want to watch her die. She's gonna die. It's not gonna work.
I personally think it wasn't that. I think it was. Either he doesn't trust himself, or
I don't think that's what I mean. He doesn't trust himself.
Yeah, but I don't think it was because he didn't care.
I don't think. I don't think. By the end of the game, it's clear that he wants to go.
Yeah.
I think by that point in the game that we were talking about, I think he cares, but he doesn't like. He even says, "You're not my daughter," and I'm damn sure not your dad.
He says
that,
but someone only says that when they're not sure.
Yeah,
I suppose.
So I just wonder, and I don't think there's ever a point in that, but it's just interesting to think about at what stage does he start moving into I actually care about this girl rather than just she's cargo.
Yeah.
Which is what she is at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just cargo.
When him and Tess get her, that's exactly how he refers to her.
Yeah.
And that was the three-way dynamic near the beginning with Tess was quite interesting, but unfortunately because of all the promotional material and that, I was when's she gonna die?
Yeah, exactly.
I would have loved it had they put Tess into all the promotional materials because she was a damn good character.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Every character in this has been really good.
Even put her and Ellie at the front of it, and then maybe just have Joel in the background, and then just kill her off straight at the beginning.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would have been pretty clever.
Yeah. But just saying that, the whole thing was good. What was your favourite part of the entire game?
Now, well, I've kind of gone on about one bit, I think, in just that whole bit where you're not sure whether Joel's dead or not.
Yeah.
I think all of that part, I think actually starting to play as Ellie was the part what I found most interesting, so I think that was probably my favourite part, and just the bit where she's hunting the deer.
Yeah.
Because it was just a almost real life situation. She's like, I'm going to try and catch this deer now.
Yeah.
I thought, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Might be too much a little bit, but yeah.
That's the thing. I was just going to say that. it's better than hunting in Tomb Raider.
No, well,
And it's better than hunting in Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah.
Now those are massive parts of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet it's just almost, it's not a mini game, that's not the right way of putting it, but it's only one.
I'd happily.
It's a set piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a very small set piece, but
And that's
somehow
what
it works.
That's what Naughty Dog is so good at. They're so good at set pieces. Because if you look at the mechanics of this game, it's a third-person cover-based shooter with crafting elements. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's done so well.
Yeah. And it's the stories behind everything as well. Like, you're just walking around, you pick up letters, and there's a guy called Izzy, and you just learn his entire story through letters.
Yeah. And you don't even know who the guy is.
No,
not
and
really.
you find out everything from where he started with just by himself in this sewer to the families he brings in, and then as soon as all that's over, you go outside and you find the first family he was talking about, a letter from them in their house. It's like, did you find that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was very cool. It's just a shame.
To me, it's a work of art.
Yeah.
So, but what was your favourite part?
The same. When you start playing as Ellie, I was like, that's great, because now I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah. I thought mine was it's a really quite a random part, but you know, just after you find the fireflies at the end.
Yeah.
And Marlene's on about saying, right, just lead him out, don't kill him, just lead him out, show him the door. Everyone leaves apart from this one guy who starts poking you in the back with his gun, like move. And I'm just there going, fucking poke me in the back one more time, I'm gonna smack you. And all of a sudden you smack him, you put his gun to his own balls, you ask him a question, he doesn't answer, you blow a ball off. Doesn't answer again, so you blow the other one off and then you kill him. I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, that is really very cool.
That by far was my favourite part, because I would love to have done that to that guy. It's pissing me off that much.
I think that was just the way the characters were done. He wasn't just, you know, a Joe Bloggs random guy.
No,
he was this guy who, even though he was never named, I don't think.
A bit of a dick.
He was a bit of a dick, but he was portrayed as such a dick. You know, you knew he was doing his job, but he was kind of he was a dick. And he needed killing in the end.
I mean, the viewers won't know what this means, but in our group of friends we got a name for someone like this, and it's called Neil. He was the Neil of these people, just someone who just constantly pokes you and winds you up, and you just want to go.
I mean, you deal with it. So you do.
Yeah.
But
and so you shoot his balls.
The thing that got me was, if you notice, every single one of the quarantine zones, apart from the one you start off in, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
It's actually, if there's one thing I would have liked them to have done, it would have been shown another quarantine zone, because we saw the Fireflies, who are like the rebels or whatever.
Yeah.
But like all kind of order, apart from the bit you start off in, is broken down. It would have been interesting to see how bad is this world, even in the quarantine bits.
Yes.
I mean.
Yeah.
Who knows? They are bringing out single player DLC for this game.
I was going to say, what do we think the DLC is going to be?
It's going to be between one of them time skips. It'll be.
You reckon? You reckon you'll still be playing as Joel and Ellie?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll just be where it cuts from one thing and it suddenly goes winter or fall. It'll just show a little bit more.
Interesting. See, I'm not sure.
No, I think that'd be quite boring.
Yeah, I wouldn't like. I mean, I think what game was it that did that? I'm pretty sure.
Assassin's Creed 2 did it.
Deus Ex.
Yes, Human
Revolution did it as well. It's just like, we're just going to cut this bit out and sell it to you later. I don't think they'll
pretty
do
sure
that.
I'm sure they haven't cut anything out. That is far too complete a narrative for them to have done that.
So what do you think it'll be?
I think we're potential. I don't think they'll do anything after. I think the game ended at a point it needed to end.
Yeah.
And I think it would be doing it a disservice.
I think the series ended. Because if they make another one, I can't see what they'll do with it.
I don't know. What do you think your DLC will be?
I think DLC will be pre. I think it'll be the bit between the, you know,
the 20
years.
That would be a much better idea than mine.
I actually agree with that, but I've got a specific thing I think it'll be.
Go on.
I'm really hoping for Joel and his brother. I really want to know why they split up in the first place.
See, that's quite something that's alluded to, obviously, and would be quite nice. You can almost see them, now that I think about it, setting up the DLC.
Yeah.
However,
if it's not that, I really hope it's completely different characters altogether. I hope it's Izzy. I really hope we see him set up that entire thing. like throughout
Yeah.
the time.
Interesting.
But there are options.
I mean, to me, it's a great world, but I wouldn't want a sequel.
I wouldn't want one. I don't want one. But
If it's made, I'll buy it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be the best sold game for a standalone console game this year.
Yeah.
And I can't see them going, you know what, we've made so much money, let's just leave it. Because I guarantee you, they bring out another one, I'll buy it.
Well, they've got two teams. They've got the guys that make they're trading off Uncharted every time.
Right.
These are the guys that made Uncharted 2, which is
Oh,
my
I
favourite
see. Yeah.
Uncharted game. I'm hoping that their next project is Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
Simply because I do not want them to constantly be making this game, because as great as it is, it's a very dark, disturbing world.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea that this studio could do an Indiana Jones romp, which is what Uncharted is,
Yeah.
and this.
I'd actually quite like this to be left alone. Probably not forever, but give it 5 years. Give it 5 years.
Do you know what I'd like
go
to see?
Me, you know what? We're making another Last of Us.
Do you know what I'd like to see? Near the end of the next console generation, they bring okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've learned everything we can, and now here's
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
2.
The Last of Us 2, because it's the last great game that's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's
I agree with
that would be a good way of doing it. I agree with you though. I'd rather they left it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. There's going to be that whole thing. They've made loads of money, and you know it's hard to ignore that.
But I think.
But they could use the fact that people will buy a game because it's by the people who made this game.
That's what I did.
Exactly.
As soon as I heard the name who was making it, I was like, you're going to have to play this game.
And that's good, and that's what they should do. So they shouldn't just like pull a Halo.
Yeah.
Because
Or
that's
COD or
Assassin's Creed.
Just name a game and there's a sequel.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It was. Do you know what was great about this game? Is it's apart from it's probably the first PS3 game I've ever finished.
Really?
I don't play many PS3 games
First
anyway.
one I've ever finished. / played.
Yes, / played. I haven't played many on the PS3 anyway, but it's the first one that's compelled me to sit down and actually play it, which was good. But it was probably the first time I played a new. What's the word I'm looking for?
Franchise, intellectual property.
A new intellectual property, like it, new IP, and thought to myself, you know, this is really, really good. You know, and it's a brand new IP, and normally you're buying a sequel.
Yeah.
I look at my shelf of games, and there aren't many where I can say, you're not a sequel. There aren't many where it's just...
There aren't many big budget titles that aren't like, you're not a sequel.
Because people aren't brave anymore, but
No.
they were brave with this one, and they pulled it off.
To be honest,
Brilliantly.
I think that studio's name also. The next 3 games, even if the next 2 are terrible, I'll even buy the 3rd, because that studio has earned a lot of.
I've only ever heard good things
A
about
lot of,
the
like,
last
you know,
fair few years. So.
love from me, where I'm like, they've made some great games. They've made games where I've got my money's worth and then some.
Yeah. I actually didn't realise who was making it, because I've not really bothered with the Uncharted games. You know, PS3, not finished any. And then I realised what else they made, which is one of my favourite franchises. Jak and Daxter.
Jak and Daxter.
And I actually finished Jak and Daxter. It's probably that's a PS2 game,
Yeah.
but that was again one of the few games probably in that era that I bothered finishing. And I actually did that to hell. But did you notice the Easter eggs in the toy shop?
Yes, everywhere.
Yeah, Jak and Daxter and Uncharted and stuff.
No, I didn't. I moved
everywhere,
through the toy shop. Damn it.
There were board games, so obviously it was all very fictitious stuff, but it just had the franchises. So it had like
Everywhere.
Uncharted on the shelf, and it had Jak and Daxter.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that.
And that was the point where I realised, I was like, oh my god, Naughty Dog, that's who they are.
Yeah.
Really
Cool.
I've written down a load of oh shit moments where I actually went oh shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Real life, actual verbalising
Yeah,
on your own.
no particular order. Some of them we've already mentioned. Is when Sam and Henry die.
Yeah. I really thought they were going to have to take down. Henry's the older brother, isn't he?
Henry's the older one, yeah.
I really thought they were going to have to take him down and cut him off. Or
Yeah, and then
stab
do
him,
Sam in
and then do
afterwards.
one of those, you know, Shakespearean style. I'm sorry, I'm going to take 20 minutes to die.
Yeah, so
But
Sam and Henry are the brothers. Sam was the younger one, Henry was the older one.
Yeah.
And Henry's there going, you can't shoot my little brother because he's obviously infected. So what he does, he turns to his little brother, shoots his little brother in the head, and then turns to himself and he kills himself as well.
I love his last words.
I go, oh shit.
This is all your fault. This is all your fault.
Yeah. But you don't know what he's going to do. Not
Yeah.
initially. It was
Yeah.
just that sudden moment where he's got the gun, and then he just turns it straight away, doesn't it? It's all really quick.
Yeah.
And there's no way that Joel could have stopped it, because I'm sure he'd have tried.
Yeah.
The next one is the drive past the family at the start. Like when you just get in the car.
Oh,
and you drive
yeah. I
past
thought
the
that was
family.
perfect.
I was like, ah, shit, this is because initially, for me, I'd have stopped and got them in, but realistically, you're thinking we're in a zombie apocalypse. You can't stop the people. You don't know if one of them's bitten. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if they got a gun and they're going to jack you. And Joel was right.
That'd be an awesome DLC. What the hell happened to them?
Yeah. Probably not, but you know.
No, the idea of like just this car drives, the start of it, this car drives past, and it's like,
This is what happened to
Yeah.
us. 20 years later is.
Right, that's it from us. Hope you enjoyed our spoilercast. If you did enjoy it, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel or have a look on our website, clashplanet.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. I can't remember what they are, so I'll leave links in the description below. Till next time, goodbye.
bye.
Ta-ra.